You're listening to Free-ish in Higher Ed. Welcome back to Free-ish in Higher Ed. I'm your host, Chelsea, and today's guest is Lynne Hamblin, a parenting student at Rogue Community College and a strong advocate for the power of adult education. Lynne, thank you so much for being here. Can you start by introducing yourself and telling listeners a little about who you are and the work that you're doing?
Absolutely. I'm so excited to be here with you, Chelsea. Thanks for having me. I actually started my journey in my 40s. I had twins later in life, and they were at the Head Start on my local community college campus. And the Head Start offered to pay for me to get my GED. And at the time, I thought, oh, yay, I can go to class and have adult time. I
Yeah.
get to talk to grown-ups. I didn't realize then what an impact completing my GED would have on me and my self-esteem, and just really, really, um, just it opened every door that I didn't know was closed, and it changed everything how I felt about myself. I was told from an early age, in second grade, that I was stupid because I couldn't memorize my multiplication tables. And that stuck with me most of my life. So in my 40s, getting my GED and really looking at this as I'm not a stupid person just
Right.
changed everything.
Thank you for being so vulnerable and sharing that. And I love that going back to get your GED was a source of building confidence and strength for you. What were some of maybe the challenges and barriers you face with going back later in life?
Well, first of all, just being a parent, and I had twins. So at the time, I had two little tiny 4-year-olds. I spent one term on campus in person, and then COVID happened, and we were all locked down. Uh, they had canceled my tests,
Mm.
and so I gave up. It's like, well, I'm never going to finish. There's no point. I now have two toddlers at home with me, and my then 14-year-old stepson starting high school at home through Zoom, and it just was very defeating. I figured there was no way I could finish and control my kids' learning at home
Right.
and add to my own, so I completely gave up. It was actually another student in the program who talked me into coming back, who valued my presence in class. It helped him, it helped me. And I am just so grateful that he was able to talk me into going back. And he's now also graduated and working on his post-secondary journey. So it was really fun to make these connections that were lifelong in the classroom.
So, what was that process like for you being able to complete your GED? What was the next steps that you took after that?
After that, I actually started business classes at the college and became a student employee in our GED department. And it has been one of my most favorite things to be in our GED department, helping other students feel the exact same way that I have and supporting them and cheering them on. It's really fun to be such a cheerleader and to see them succeed and know what it feels like. And I really think that it encourages them to see the things that I have done and accomplished and my passion. And I really do feel that it helps them feel it in themselves as well.
Yeah, absolutely. I definitely think when you're able to have that personal connection to the work that you're doing, I think it really does benefit those around you, and especially your story of coming back a little later and being a parent and being able to work through that, I think it's just such a great inspiration for others. I wanted to ask, what kind of support and resources did you find during your journey in higher education?
First of all, especially in my GED classes, was my instructors who just saw in me what I didn't see in myself and just really encouraged and supported me in that way. They really met me where I was at and lifted me up throughout the whole thing. So number one, definitely my instructors. Two were the people that I met in class because we were all there for the same reason. I definitely was not the oldest person in the classroom, which I was kind of surprised when I first started. But then, there was homeschool kids and COVID high school dropout kids, and we all got along and supported each other and helped each other. And then, of course, there's academic supports. Oregon has a SNAP training and education program.
Hmm.
We call it STEP, and it was a huge help. It paid for all of my testing fees. It paid when I was still on campus. I received a gas card to help get me to campus. It paid my $60, $65 term fee. I know that's different in every state, but that was one thing going into this I didn't know. I assumed that, oh, those classes are on the college. That must cost college money. But
Right.
it wasn't. Yeah. And I didn't never, as a first time college student, I didn't know. And I do know that most states have a much lower, and some states even have free GED classes, which is super awesome. I wish we did, but $65 is not that bad. But the STEP program was because I received food stamps at the time. That program is an equity program, helped to bring students, college students, that even followed me into my college plan that pays for textbooks and again, transportation for me to get to my classes. It pay for childcare. So I'm a huge, huge advocate not only for adult ed, but also for our farm bill throughout our country because it doesn't just pay for food stamps. It does allocate money for programs like this nationally. So that is also one of my top of my list of advocacy is for the farm bill.
All the resources you mentioned, those are the kind of tangible support that students really need. And access to those does, vary state to state. And your story is such a beautiful example of the success that students can have when they are supported. And so I love that your advocacy centers around that tangible support for other students as well.
Absolutely. 100%. That's what I mean, because like I said, you don't know what you don't know. And if you are scared to try because you don't know about supports and you don't know that there's financial aid available, or sometimes you just have to take that first step onto the campus and know that it will change your life once you get there.
Yeah, and I'm curious, was that program something that you found once you connected with the GED instructors, or how did you find out about that?
Yeah, actually, I was enrolled and it was my first day of class, and the step coordinator, so the person who runs the program here on campus, visited our classroom and told us about the program and all the supports and help that they could offer. And I actually wasn't on food stamps at that time. My family, I knew that we made too much money. And he said, just apply because sometimes if you are right at that threshold, I received $0 of food stamps money, but I was eligible to then be part of the STEP program.
Hmm.
And then my kids, we got money in the summertime when they weren't in school. So just even applying for these programs, and that sometimes it's, oh, I don't deserve it, or oh, somebody needs it more.
Right.
And I really felt that way myself. But the programs are there for a reason and they're meant to help students. And if we don't take advantage of them, they're going to go away because it won't show as a necessity.
Right,
So somebody explained that to me and it made perfect sense. It's like, oh, if I don't use it, then it's not going to be available. It's there for a reason.
right,
And so, using those supports not only helps me, but it also shows the need and will help the next student coming in because they'll still be available.
right. And I think that's something that we've discussed quite a bit on Free-ish is breaking down the stigma of asking for help. And I think that was just a great example and explanation of demonstrating the need so that these resources can continue to help others. But it does take that first step of either going on campus or sometimes you have to put your pride to the side and say, I need a little help. And it's incredible how far that help can take students like yourself. So thank you so much for sharing about that. I wanted to know what advice you might have for someone who's just considering but not really sure. They're maybe feeling uncertain, or what advice would you have to encourage them to actually take that first step?
You just have to. I can't even put into words the difference it made me feel about myself and just wanting to be then a bigger piece of my community and continue, just made me know that I am worthy and my education is worthy and I'm worthy of continuing my education. And for so long, I just let life happen to me because I didn't know that I was worthy. And getting my GED 100% changed all of that and everything that I felt about myself. So you just have to. You just take that tiny little step. There's people to help you. There's supports to help you. And I promise it's not as scary as you think. Everybody's really, really scared of math. And I
Yeah.
actually was, of course, not ever. I still to this day don't have my multiplication tables memorized. I think it was just a mental block from second grade. I actually scored the highest on my math test because it wasn't as scary as I thought.
Yeah.
There's a ton of support even outside of the classrooms. GED.com, where you will schedule your testing, has a ton of practice tests and resources. You are allowed to use a calculator, and the calculator honestly will do most of the work for you if you know how to do it, right? And
Right.
there's videos on YouTube. They'll teach you how to do it. So I promise it's not as scary as people think. And I know that firsthand because I was scared to death, but it's so worth it. It's so worth it.
For people listening in Texas, if you're 21 or older, you can actually apply for financial aid and get vouchers to help cover the cost of your GED. And they say you don't have to take the prep classes, but they are
No,
recommended. But sometimes there's that misconception of, oh, I don't want to go and I don't have the time for the prep classes. You can actually take a practice test and then just take the test, and
absolutely.
voila,
To
you've got
see
your
where you're
GED.
at. Yeah, you may
Yeah,
not even need prep classes.
right.
100%. You can
Yeah.
spend $7 on GED.com, take an actual official practice test. It looks and feels and functions like the real GED test. I mean, everybody's scared of taking tests, but if you
Yeah.
know what it looks like and you know how it functions, if you are likely to pass the test, then just schedule it because you will. I cannot describe what it felt like passing that first test. And it was during COVID, so I was taking it at home while somebody
Mhm.
watched me through my camera.
Like
It was kind
proctored.
of weird.
Yeah.
Yep, it
Yeah.
was fully proctored. Somebody
Yeah.
was watching me through my camera. It was kind of unnerving. And then, you have that anxious waiting period, right? Like, oh my gosh, did I pass? Did I pass? Did I pass? And they come back pretty quick. I think it took like 5 minutes to get my scores back. And just seeing that I had passed that first test, I literally cried.
Oh,
I was so proud of myself and excited. to do more. And yeah, it's really cool. But yeah, like we were talking about, you don't have to go to these prep classes. And even at that, I know my college and most of them in Oregon State. So I imagine a lot of others do, especially since COVID. We have online classes and in-person classes, daytime classes, nighttime classes. I think COVID in that way really helped people be comfortable with having, like, Zoom options and alternative options to really help people.
One of the benefits of COVID is the accessibility factor for sure. And I know GED.com is such a user-friendly website,
Hmm.
and from it, everything is based on your state. So it's got find your local testing office, and just the accessibility also, if that doesn't work for you, you can do it online. So it used to kind of be like, oh, you got to go to night school. Now it's like you can do this online anytime.
Yep.
So it's
Yep.
great.
Especially, busy parents and,
Hmm.
we're working and kids are in school and, we have responsibilities. So it doesn't have to be, you have to go to a classroom. You can do it. There's even during COVID, before I could go back, when I had all the kids at home during the lockdown, I ordered a study book off of Amazon that had all four subjects in it. And I would sit and do my homework
Yeah.
because I wasn't ready to give up, I guess, even though my brain told me that I didn't have a choice. I still was doing these good things to keep it going. Yeah, and then even ordering the calculator, I think I was like $15. The study book was 20 something dollars. So there's 100% way more options than having to go to a classroom. So if you are not wanting to go to a classroom, take a practice test, order a book. Just know getting your GED will change you in all the best ways.
As we wrap up, I wanted to ask where you're at now. So you took business classes, but where is your GED essentially taking you with your education? What are your plans for the future?
Yeah, so getting my GED, it changed, like I said, again,
Yeah.
and I'll sing it forever, it changed everything. But initially I just was like with my business classes, go work at the front office with my kids' school because then I can have days off with them. But my advocacy work has really ignited such a passion in me. I'm still at Rogue Community College working on my associate's transfer. I will then be going to Oregon State University, studying public policy with a rural emphasis to really try to help remove stigmas and change policy and advocate for adult ed programs, workforce programs, short-term training programs. Our rural areas specifically really need those types of programs to keep our people in our communities, to really support our home neighborhoods. So public policy is now my passion. I never in a million years thought I would be going into politics, but here I am.
Yeah, I know we talked before when we were getting to know each other, and I'm kind of in a very similar situation where I'm like, I never would have thought, but once you kind of get bitten by the advocacy bug,
Oh, 100%.
it's hard to shake that. And then you're like, what? I changed my degree. I thought I was gonna do this. Now I'm over here in
Yep, I've changed my
yeah.
major degree, I think, 3 times.
Yeah, same. So I really just want to thank you so much for lending your voice to my passion project. I want to leave some links in the episode description for resources in Oregon as well as Texas. And again, thank you so much, Lynn, for joining me on this episode to help bring more awareness to adult education and the benefits of getting your GED.
Oh, not a problem. I'm glad I could be here, Chelsea. It was great to talk with you.
If something in this episode moved you or resonated with you, don't be afraid to use your voice or step into your purpose. And if you want to be part of this conversation or have a story to tell, I want to hear it. You can email me at free.ishpodcast@gmail.com. That's free.ish podcast@gmail.com. You can also DM me on Instagram at free.ishpodcast. We're free-ish, and we're claiming our space unapologetically.